Hello and welcome to the Sex Within Marriage podcast. My name is JD and I blog over at uncoveringintimacy.com. And a while back I received this question, I think it was actually in February, and I wanted to answer it in a separate post rather than in a bunch of other questions. Sadly, then I completely forgot about it until I was looking through my files and stumbled across it again. So today I'm going to finally answer this question that we have about breast implants, and hopefully she's still listening. Before we get to that, just very quick note, I made some changes to how Spotify was pulling in our feeds. So if you listen to the podcast on Spotify, you can now have links in the show notes for the podcast. That will actually link to the blog post, which will have a full transcript of the podcast episode, as well as all the links and everything else you might want to find on the site. If you listen on iTunes or Podcast Addict or anything else, this was already doing this for a long time, but I didn't realize Spotify pulled the data in a different way than these ones did. So I spent quite a bit of time last week trying to figure out what was going on and then reprogramming my site to send it in the way that they wanted. All right, now back to this question. So this wife writes, "Hi, to start, I just wanted to say thank you so much for what you do. Your podcast has been immensely eye-opening and helpful. Now to my question. I am in my 30s and my husband and I have been together for 15 years. There was porn use by my husband that nearly tore us apart, but after therapy, support groups, and endless prayer, I am so thankful that we are stronger than ever, and he has been porn-free for over a year now. It has made a profound difference in our sex life, and we feel more connected than ever. That being said, internally, I am still struggling with body image issues. It is not all-consuming, but it's enough to bring me to this point. I've been considering breast augmentation for years now, but I kept putting it on the back burner due to pregnancy and breastfeeding. We have 3 children. I thought I was completely over this idea and just decided to fully accept my body as it is until the porn addiction reared its ugly head. As I said, we are past that, and he has made amazing changes for himself and us, but knowing what he watched and the women he chose to view online has made the idea of breast augmentation appealing again. I am not happy with what 6 years of breastfeeding has left me with. My husband says he loves my body the way it is, but I know I would love it more if I got breast augmentation, and undoubtedly, I know he would too, even if he won't admit it so as not to hurt my feelings. My question is, do you think seeking a breast augmentation for selfish reasons would be sinful? Would God find that an abomination of sorts, a sinful act based on my lack of love towards my body? I know I would feel so much more confident. I truly would. And that would enhance our sex life due to my confidence alone. So would that be a bad thing to do? I have flip-flopped on this for months now. Some days I'm certain it's a sinful thing to desire and do, and other days I'm certain that it does not fall in the category of actual sin. An outside perspective would be so helpful, and I appreciate it immensely. I know I need to love the body I have, and I do, but it's the slight pains of the past and the desire to feel confident that entices me. Knowing there are verses in the Bible directly telling the men to love his women's beautiful breasts makes my heart drop because mine are anything but beautiful. They are used, tired, and barely there after years of sacrificing my body for our children. So would making them more appealing really be a bad thing? Or would it be no different than purchasing a new sex toy and having fun in the bedroom as a husband and wife? Thank you for your time. So I did post this in our forum when it did come in, and we had couples who had gotten breast implants and loved them, and ones who said never again. So even in our supporter group, there wasn't a consensus. So I don't expect everyone to agree with me, whichever way I go. But I'll start off with what I see here. The first is that this seems to be dealing with symptoms rather than root causes. As you said, you have body image issues that are exacerbated by your husband's porn use. It sounds like you were even getting better until the porn issue came to the surface, and then it shattered what progress you had made, which is completely understandable. So this idea of breast augmentation seems to be a way to avoid body image issues rather than deal with the root cause. And to me, that has sort of the same feeling as divorcing because you want to be more independent. The issue isn't the marriage, it's the lack of desire to live a shared life. Now, some people divorce and then grow up a bit by the next marriage, or realize they never want to go through that again and are forced to grow up. But if they don't, I can almost guarantee there will be another divorce in the future. In the same way, I worry that if you get this surgery without dealing with the root cause, you will just find something else to be unhappy about. What if you get the surgery and then your husband has a relapse? Will you worry that they're not good enough? Will you want larger ones? And this brings up another issue, that men typically don't watch porn because their spouse isn't attractive enough. His porn use has nothing to do with how you look. I know it can feel that way and it can make you feel insecure, but changing your looks will not impact his porn use or disuse at all. Your looks are not responsible for it, and I worry that you might be thinking that they are. In all the years that I've been doing this, I have never met a husband who said that they watch porn because they're unhappy with how their wife looks. I've met some who started watching porn and then saw their preferences shift. But again, that's an issue that should be dealt with, not band-aided by matching their new preference. They need healing, not to have their incorrect preferences matched. And to be clear, it's not incorrect because of the preference, it's incorrect because of how the preference came about. We as humans are hardwired to have our preferences shift towards what our spouse is. That's how our brain works. And so you seem not to believe your husband when he says he loves your body the way it is, but I believe him because that's what I hear from men all the time, whether or not their wife is in the room. When they are confessing their deepest thoughts, feelings, hurts, and everything else, this is not one of them that comes up very often at all. The very rare time it does, it's either due to the relationship itself has soured their opinion, or there's been massive weight gain on the order of morbid obesity. And even then, it's only some men who lose their attraction. So my point is, as long as he's not using porn, whatever state your body is in, that is what your husband's preferences will gravitate towards. So yes, if you get breast implants, he will like it. If you don't, he will like it. He will like it either way. But if you don't believe him now when he says it, and if you do get your surgery and then ask him if he likes how you look after the surgery, why would you believe him then if you don't believe him now? For myself, I would like to see you work on those body image issues, work on believing your husband, and work on gaining confidence in the way that you are. Then, if you still want to, give it another consideration, but not for these reasons. Now, those are my thoughts, and you asked for more opinions. So I welcome any and all to share theirs in the comments on the blog post. Again, you can just, in your podcast player, click on the link to the blog post, and you can comment at the bottom and share your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, whatever you want to share. Because I'd much rather we have a larger community weighing in on topics like this rather than just my voice. Ultimately, the decision is yours, and I think a wider range of experiences and perspectives can help you think through it more thoroughly. Because yes, I don't think it's a very clear black and white issue in the Bible. I can't pull a verse and say, this is what the Bible says, and therefore you should do it. And the ones that talk about loving the body that God gave you, that God created you, that you are a masterpiece, you know all these verses already, so I'm not going to bother bringing them all up again. But if you have a wound that needs serious healing, you can't just slap a Band-Aid on it and hope it'll go away. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes it needs some more serious attention and care. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Yeah, everybody, I'd love it if you jump on and share yours. And that's it for today. Again, if you're listening on Spotify, check out the show notes. If you're not, well, they're probably already there. If you are using some player and it's not there, let me know and I'll see if I can fix that too. And lastly, please, we'd love to get ratings and reviews. It helps people know what we're about and that we're worth listening to. So if you like this reader, feels that our podcast is eye-opening and immensely helpful to your marriage, please just give us a rating. You don't have to put in anything. If you're more brave, you can leave a comment. And I love to get those. I post them on social media and they just make my day and help me keep going with this. And lastly, as always, thank you to our supporters who keep us going and share their perspectives in the forum. If you want to share your perspective anonymously as well in the forum, you can check out our donate page that gives you access to, the forum and couples nights and a bunch of other stuff that we have going on. And that's it for today. We'll talk to you next time.